Good morning to Priyanka and Suchak. Welcome to this episode. This episode for all the viewers and listeners started off with me being a part of another podcast, Changepreneurs. Priyanka gets introduced. Priyanka brings along Suchak to the conversation. And then one line that really captures me there is that they move from a city life to a village, Daboli, if I exactly pronounce it right, and they've been in a beautiful, sustainable house with no refrigerator for a long time. And I said, okay, this is an interesting starting point. I also don't know where this podcast will lead, but that's the starting point of a great conversation. So both of them on the other side, with Priyanka and Suchak being there, I'll introduce them as just friends. You will get to know all of them, and then both of them through this journey of theirs. The aspect of it, it's good enough introduction to say they're good friends, and then we'll take it from there. So
Absolutely.
formality is not a space here. But an interesting point was the last time we did a podcast, Shiva was behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now we have a different space. We have Surya and possibly three other interesting backgrounds. So there's something with both of us and our backgrounds being part of our podcast. So Priyanka and Suchak, again officially welcome to this People, Passion and Purpose podcast. And the idea is to have conversations and record the conversations. Put it out to people, and the whole aspect of the personal side and the people side for it to emerge, and not necessary to have it on a theme, not have subject matter expertise, but slightly here, I would like to tap onto your journey of switching off from a corporate or a very city centered life to now being a part of this sustainable space. You get to uh, you don't your phone ringtone does not need to have bird singing. You actually have bird singing in your background. You have medicinal plants healing you, part of the natural ecosystem. I think this whole refrigerator thing not being there was my first interest of, what was the hook. So I will leave it to you. You can start with how it started to where it is now and how this comes along, and then we'll move as and how the river flows.
Okay.
Over to you.
So, first of all, thanks for having us. Though Shiva is not on the wall today, he's always there with us. So, with his blessings, I guess we can initiate and start our discussion. And as you said, I mean, we'll see how it actually goes. Where do we actually land up? And we can take it from there. With respect to our story, I think I'll let Priyanka start, and then I'll pitch in between. Wherever maybe she might have missed anything, I'll just pitch it in between and then take it forward from there.
sure. Thanks, Suchak. Thanks, Sunil. Suchak has already thanked you for having us here. Good morning to you and to your listeners. Let's hope that I really liked the title of your podcast, right? The purpose behind it. So it covers, it has the whole essence to it. I don't know where to begin. Uh, it started, I think, with a learning, right? I had fallen sick, and that was a learning for both of us in many ways, right? It was an eye opener too, as in, like, where we are heading towards, where our life is taking us. Like, back then we were very occupied with work. We had started a restaurant in Pune. The restaurant was doing really awesome. We garnered, a lot of customers over the period of time. We were covered by many local magazines, even Times of India, won certain awards, and then our personal careers were also doing really well. To be very honest, at present, like, before I get further on that, at present, we are in city. We are in Pune. We're not in our in our house back in Dapoli. We had some work, which is why we are here. Now, coming back to this story about that episode, right? So I think we both were very busy, very occupied, like every individual, right, in their 30s. Were happy to gain that success and enjoy that success, right? But then life also happens to you, and life happened to us, and I had fallen sick during 2020, and that changed our life 360 degrees. And this man on my left, who couldn't manage a single day without non-veg, decides to quit eating non-veg, and many more things, right? We became more health conscious. And then our philosophy when we were running a restaurant was like, we will not serve anything that we don't eat, right? Just to give you an example, we never used to have cold drinks. We were never big fans of Coca-Cola, or you name it, any cold drink range, right? We never served them. So a lot of people used to ask, we would like to have a cold drink with it, and we said, we serve only charged, and if you're happy, then you can drink it, but we don't serve cold drinks for you. So when we stopped eating non-veg, that is when we decided, not to continue with our restaurant. And mainly, while all this transition was happening, Suchak got into reading. He came across Kriya Yoga, ashram in Odisha, and we attended one of the programs there for 3 months, and that is where we learned from our Guruji, Paramhansa Pragyananji, that you should never earn money through food. I mean, Suchak can put it in better words than me. I might lack certain way of explaining it. So that was also another reason we stopped eating or stopped serving, food in the restaurant, stopped the food business. Do you want to take it forward and elaborate a bit?
So I think honestly, Priyanka is the articulate one in the family. I am kind of shoot at the side. I mean, straightforward kind of a guy. So I don't know why she said he can elaborate much better. But anyways, I'll try my best. So yeah, so food wise, definitely, this was the major reason which Priyanka mentioned, that we stopped eating non-veg food. There were spiritual reasons behind it. There were health reasons behind it, and we kind of understood what is good for our health and what is not good for health. And in terms of Pragyananandaji, the Guruji from Orissa, he is kind of not just preacher. He does what he actually preach, and that's what I like about people, right? I mean, if you do not follow what you say, then it makes no sense for everybody else to follow you. So that's the whole idea. We stopped not eating non-veg food, and we said whatever we are not eating, we do not want to serve. It wasn't really a kind of we wanted to earn humongous amount of money out of it, and that's why we started the restaurant. It was a dream that we wanted to make sure that we have something like this and serve some good food to the people wherever we are, and that's how we started. But just going back to the story where Priyanka became sick. She wasn't having COVID or anything at that time because COVID was actually coming up, right, in 2020, 2021 onwards. It was a wrong prescription of medicines that was actually happened over the phone because doctors and nobody was ready to see the patients, right? Considering they were also scared in the initial phase. Because of those wrong prescribed medicines, and I guess at that time our buddhi was also, I don't know where it went. We said, okay, you know what, just go ahead and take these medicines. And she took a lot of medicines at that time, all the allopathic medicines. And that kind of triggered the entire bad episode for Priyanka. But again, I mean, even though the episode was bad, she had to go through all this. We still consider this as, I wouldn't say blessing, but that changed our life, right?
I mean, blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise, exactly. So she became sick, very sick. She wasn't able to kind of eat normal food. Her acidity level has increased. She wasn't able to sleep at night. Whatever she eats, even the moong dal khichdi, which usually doctors recommend kind of a light food, even if she eats that, it used to just come out. She lost around 12-15 kgs at that time. She was basically not able to cope up with day-to-day activities as well. And one fine day at about, I guess, 3 a.m. In night, she woke me up and said, I don't think I'll be able to see tomorrow's day. And that kind of shook me inside. And I knew that it is bad, but I never really thought that it was that bad. Those few of the astrologers, I mean, we do believe in spirituality, astrology and all. So we do consider it. We did talk to a few of the astrologers, and they said, some of them said, no, it is really bad. It can actually convert into cancer. She might not be surviving for so many years or so on and so forth, but we never really did any tests or anything.
Yeah.
Right. And then we kind of, I mean, people say it's manifestation or the kind of strong mind that you have changes everything, right? So that's what we wanted to do. We did not want to do tests. We wanted to just make sure that we keep ourselves in a positive mindset and manifest what we want.
I mean, sorry. To be very honest, he says we, but that's something, I was also a bit both ways, right? Like he's saying, being confident, putting the positive mindset there, but at the same time I was scared too, because I was like, what if it comes true? So I kept telling him, no, I don't want to be getting any test done, right? So it was both way, right? Positive mindset, but at the same time, back of the mind, I was scared to know the truth. But as he said, like there were few astrologers, they really scared the shit out of me. I'm so sorry to say this, but they're like, it's going to be cancer. This guy, an astrologer plus a homeopath, right? He was a homeopath, right? He told me on my face, you are having cancer. So you imagine the kind of the mindset or the kind of things that we both were going through, and unfortunately, thanks to the lockdown put by the government, no friends, no family.
Yeah.
It was just two of us, so it was even more scary. Now,
Right.
please continue.
So no, that's right. I mean, what you mentioned is right. I mean, there was nobody around, right? I mean, you couldn't travel to your parents' place, or they can't come in. It's just two of us. We were staying at that time in Pune, and then because of what she said on that particular night, I was, as I said, I was very shaken up, and then that's when I was like, I think we need to do something to get this thing fixed. So next day onwards, I fortunately, I think I was reading online and kind of going through some podcasts and videos, and that's when I found there's a great book called Ashtangardayam from Vagbhatta, Maharshi Vagbhatta, and that book basically has 3 volumes. First volume talks about how you should live your life throughout the year, right? What you should do in the morning, and how you actually progress what you should do in entire day. The second volume talks about some illnesses and the Ayurvedic medicines of it, and the third volume talks about the the operations or surgeries that actually somebody can perform on human body to get rid of the illnesses. Now, this book is, I guess, around 4,500 years old or something like that. So, in that time, our people knew the surgeons, the kind of instruments that should be used to make a certain incisions or surgeries on a human body, right? I mean, and we nowadays I still have people in my family and surrounding who do not believe in Ayurveda, or they still believe that no, this plant stuff doesn't do anything. I want to just go to allopathy and get things done. They do not understand the side effects of it, of any surgery or any allopathic medicine that you take. But unfortunately, that's the fact today. So coming back to the story, I mean, that's how I started reading those books. We set up a specific routine for Priyanka, like get up at this time, do this after you get up, do that, eat this food. As much as alkaline food was actually part of our dinner and lunch, and so on and so forth. And we almost completely stopped the allopathic medicines. The only thing that we continued, I wouldn't say it's an allopathic medicine, but it comes into that category is probiotics. So we, along with curd and home probiotics that we have, we said we'll just keep probiotics running for Priyanka at that time. And to our surprise, she started getting better probably around 2 months or 2.5 months onwards. It wasn't completely fixed, but at least we were actually seeing some results by using the home remedies and Ayurvedic medicines. And I think the major chunk was the lifestyle change that we did, and that actually showed results in 2.5 months. And then slowly and gradually over the period of time, we also got in touch with homeopath, few of the Ayurvedic doctors, and they prescribed some Ayurvedic medicines. And slowly and gradually, I think it took around a year and a half, right,
Yeah.
to completely cure whatever she had at that time.
I just want to, through your channel, I would like to name a few of them. Like my school friend, okay? Her name is Jayashri Aware. I don't know her name after marriage, but last name after marriage, but she sits in Yeola, Nashik, and she was a big supporter throughout this journey, because she had stopped practicing Ayurveda, and I always encouraged her to continue with her Ayurvedic practice. But as Suchak just mentioned some time back, right, uh, people are not okay to have Ayurvedic medicines, and that is also one of the reasons that she couldn't continue with her practice. But she was a big strong force, helping us out virtually through calls. And I remember her telling me when I was talking to her on the phone while sick, she's like, I don't know this Priyanka. The Priyanka I know from my school days was very confident, was very, somebody who will be an inspiration to others. And the person whom I'm talking to on the phone is very scared, right? So bring back that Priyanka. And that actually stuck with me. And I was like, oh my God. Uh, and you will not believe that's a fact, right? I did not meet her after our school days, right? So we're talking about what, 15, 20 years probably. And then it actually stayed with me. And then I retrospected and I reflected back on me. And as I told Suchak, I think what Jayashri is saying, is making more sense. I think I got too scared, out of all this. And I think I have to come out of that shell and tell myself, okay, you can pass through this. So she's definitely one. There is Dr. Kedarnath Longani. He is an homeopath in Pune. Very sweet guy, very, very sweet guy, very down to earth, and he's always there for you. So he also helped me, especially the way he speaks, he's very sweet in speaking. And another thing, what stayed with me and Suchak is his name, right? His name is Kedarnath. So, we are into the Lord Shiva's, and then, we took it as a sign, right? Come on, like out of so many homeopaths within Pune or India, we got referred to him by someone, I don't remember who, and then his name again, Kedarnath. So that also added to, me, getting back on track uh, in a faster mode. So thanks to these two, thanks to Suchak. I mean, I'm ever like eternally thankful to him. He did a lot for me throughout, overall also in life, and then throughout this journey of 2 years, he stood by me as a rock. And yeah, so yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so just to add what she mentioned, the point to take from what she mentioned is the strong mind can actually do wonders. It's it's that small conversation with her friend, and whatever we were doing in the back end basically transformed her mindset from a weak mind to probably a strong mind. That no, this is not right. I mean, whatever we're doing is right, and this is going to get me better. And I need to be confident and tell my mind and body and everything that this can be cured, right? So kind of a manifestation that you do, right? And what I understand from manifestation is you should behave like you already have things that you want to have in life. That's how manifestation works, right? So that's the point that I think everybody should take out of it. So that's a small kind of quick story, what we had basically gone through, and that's changed our life from materialistic point of view to moving into minimalism and spirituality.
Fantastic. No, I think I like this. I like the way this is progressing in terms of all the conversations that is brought up. And I think also the name Kedarnath, then also adding confidence, right? So
Yeah.
it's these little things that we possibly would have ignored in our usual conversations.
Right.
Suddenly, when something is there, our zoning in happens saying, oh, this is something, and you see some patterns. Whether there is any science to a name changing your belief could be subject to another story.
Yeah.
But then internally it shifts you, and once you feel ready to welcome that into your world, that seed actually starts to grow in that place, and you're ready to heal. Healing happens
Right.
whenever you're ready. Things set in place. Uh, Conversations happen. People who you haven't spoken to in like lifetime suddenly give you a call and say, you know what, I thought of you, and how are you doing. And those conversations end up changing a lot of stuff for you. Uh, Also, I know a little bit of your story as well, prior to our conversation. So, COVID, you move in your car, you move around, you finally come to a place, and then you set up home there. So, from a city to here, and suddenly the changes are, not just simple, it is a very complicated and a big change to make that happen. So you also said it a lot of things changed in your life. So what are some of those changes that you consciously brought in, and some that unconsciously also came into your life as such?
So, so now what you're looking at me, right, on the camera. I'm very thin, kind of a guy. You don't see a lot of muscle mass on my body. But back then,
95 to 65, huh?
Yeah.
exactly. So I used to be around 95, 96 kgs back then. So you can think of the kind of lifestyle we might be. I mean, we were living back then, right? I mean, I'm not saying that everybody who live a materialistic life turns out to be 95 or 100 kgs. But when you work in an IT firm, you get you get paid well, and then going out, having parties. I was never into, I mean, we both were never into alcohol, but food was something that I was really, really, I still am, but food was something that kind of triggered me, right? I used to travel lot of places around, even though it's a far place, we always travel to find some good food, right? So that's one major change I can think of that we consciously made. I mean, food, it's not a garbage. Your stomach is not a garbage. Your body is not a garbage, right? And back then, my mindset was completely different. I remember telling Priyanka is not that foodie. I mean, she wants to eat healthy food. She's okay with a bland food, so on and so forth. And she used to tell me that, you know what, I mean, this is not good what you're eating, right? And my response to that was, you know what, even if I'm dying, you should not tell me not to eat my food, whatever I eat, like spicy and oily and that. Even if I'm dying because of the same food, I'll still eat on my last day. So that was my mindset back then. And changing that from that kind of mindset to kind of starting and going healthy was, maybe it looks like a big change, but once you understand the importance of it, automatically happens. So that was a big change that we made in our life. Now I wouldn't say we don't eat outside food whenever, like we're in Pune, right? I mean, we don't have a choice. We may not be able to cook at this place, but we still try and see if we can actually eat healthy and fresh food in Pune, or maybe go to our relatives' house and ask them to cook something for us rather than going out. So, so food-wise, we made a big change where the place where we stay, it's a mud house. It's kind of middle of, you can say it's a middle of jungle. It's not even in a village. I mean, the boundaries of our land is around 50 or 100 acres of jungle that we have around. Nobody stays in there, and it just in that 6 acre property where we stay, we only have 3 houses, including ours, and that too not really nearby. So it's a mud house that we built there. And before even building the mud house, going in a minimalistic route, we started the minimalistic route in Pune itself. I mean, we started cutting down, stopped using fridge, we stopped using television, we started using less water for our baths or for everything, right? I mean, since I'm talking about water, if you consider a normal human being, if you go and take a bath under a shower, it'll probably consume around 200 liters of water, I guess, within that 10 or 15 minutes. And if you go beyond like crazy, having a bathtub and all, I mean, you can imagine the amount of water that you waste. So cutting down from going out of that and started using one bucket of water, like maybe 5 liters or 7 liters of bucket. And you can actually take bath in a pretty good way, honestly, within that 7 liters of water as well. You don't really need a shower and then 200 or 500 liters of water to be wasted. Because we have people in India who don't really have drinking water. And if you waste 200 liters of water every day for a single person, and let's consider family of 4, you're actually wasting 800 liters of water every day.
Yeah.
And on top of that, people take bath twice a day. So consider the amount of wastage of water that we do, right? So that's another thing that we started doing while in Pune itself. No refrigerator. Refrigerator wise, I think Priyanka can add to it, but because refrigerator or kitchen appliances is like a woman's kind of baby, or she wants that. It's very difficult for a woman in the house to not to have these things, because we usually work in IT, cook in the morning, have the same food in the evening, probably the next day as well, you have the same food. And if Priyanka used to work at that time, so she needs to work, she needs to go out to office, work, make sure she cooks in the morning, breakfast, lunch, and then come back from office, again cook the dinner, fresh food for us, because we stopped using fridge. But I guess she understood the importance of this, the benefits of this, and that's why we said I think we should go in that route. You want to add anything to?
Yeah, there are too many things I also want to correct, because this man here is very, he's not talking about himself, right? I couldn't have managed so much that he's speaking highly about me, cooking, working, and all of that without him, right? Day one of my marriage, I remember, I never asked him, like, come with me for, going to the market, buying vegetables. He just hopped in, right? He started chopping vegetables without I don't even remember a conversation now. How many years of marriage? I hope you answered it correctly. So 15 years of marriage, 19 years of knowing him. There was not a single day that I had to tell him, come on, Suchak, please help me with this, right? He was always proactive. So I would suggest for all the couples out there, right? Be there for each other, okay? So the journey will not be easy unless like you help each other. So this journey became easy and very interesting because we were there for each other, right? He was there for me, I was there for him. So cutting down on the refrigerator part, right? Sounds scary, sounds really, tough, but you get there eventually, right? I remember when I had put the ad on one of the Facebook ladies group, it has around 1 lakh ladies or more than that in that group. I put the ad that I'm selling my refrigerator at so and so cost, and because I'm going minimalist, like I'm going out of refrigerator, I put that categorically. So I had received so many messages to my inbox, like
Not to buy the fridge.
not to buy the fridge, yeah. Right. Ask how I want to manage without refrigerator. Yeah, so true. So I think if you go in the history, look at maybe 2 generations before, our grandmothers, their mothers, used to manage without refrigerator, right? Very easily and very smartly, very efficiently. There were things that they could carry the whole year without refrigerator. How was that possible? So you start learning, educating yourself, bring that small changes. Don't buy and stock everything. Now, I'll tell you one example, right? Initially, when we moved to Dapoli, I made like one jar, big jar of this, what do you call, pickle. And I, again, learning process, okay? I forgot to like diet conscious, health conscious. I did not add too much oil to it, and whereas the whereas the pickle should be like deep in the oil, right? And it spoiled within few months. My heart broke, but then I realized, what mistakes I made. But so you make those small changes. If you want to have Chinese, we have not stopped eating. Like as we said, like we do eat Chinese at a time. So, but then we don't buy the Chinese sauces. We have stopped using, what is that salt thing called?
Ajinomoto.
Ajinomoto. Yeah, Ajinomoto. We don't use Ajinomoto. We cook at home, right? So I make Szechuan sauce at home. So you take efforts. So efforts are there for sure. Once you know, and then you learn, you talk to people, you talk to maybe a generation before or a before that, and try to find out how did they manage, what did they do, right? So something like that. So the refrigerator thing happened that way. That was a quick shift. But other things were like, for example, our eating times, right? He's keeping dinner for last many years now, almost a year and a half, which I'm not very happy with, but I'm just going with the flow because like I have
पॉडकास्ट में कंप्लेन करने का टाइम मिल गया.
No, otherwise I also complain, but I am saying this because maybe skipping dinner may not be applicable to all the viewers out there, right? That's why I just thought of not a complaint. So we eat 3 times a day, right? For example, in the morning at between 7:30 to 8 we have a breakfast, lunch at around 12:30 to 1, and dinner at between 5 to 5:30. So we arrived at this timing gradually. Suchak also had stopped eating dinners gradually. It was a gradual process. So earlier times were between 9:30 to 10 dinner times. We moved it to 8:30. Likewise, slowly and gradually we have chose the new timings, and we tend to follow as much as we can. Only when night travel is when the challenge. But otherwise, when we are at home, we ensure that we stick to the timelines. Apart from that,
So refrigerator wise, just to come back to the same question again, refrigerator not only lets you, it definitely saves cost, right? Your electricity bill gets saved.
Yeah.
And you get to eat fresh food, healthy food, right? You have no choice that I'll cook for today and cook today and then eat in same thing in the evening or maybe day after tomorrow as well, right? So that way you cook and you eat fresh food and try and stay healthy, right? As far as the dinner thing that she mentioned, I think it's around 2 years now that I haven't been eating my dinner. But as she said, it was a gradual thing. I started eating my dinner at around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening. And then slowly and gradually, I thought, I don't think my body requires more food. I think I can survive without dinner. And slowly and gradually, I started doing that. One thing I noticed was we eat a lot. Our body do not really need so much amount of food. As I was saying earlier, right? We feel like it's a garbage bin, Chinese, pizza, pasta, burger. You just keep putting it in your body, which is, of course, these fast foods are unhealthy for sure. On top of that, all the restaurant. I mean, again, I'm making controversial statement, but I wouldn't say 100%. But this restaurant people or restaurant chain is kind of there to make money. They are not really there to serve you healthy and fresh food. How much ever they say that they want to, it's a fresh food, it's a healthy food. Ultimate motive that they have in the background is to make money. I mean, it's nothing wrong on their part as well, but that's what they're serving. So the kind of impressions that the chef is making while cooking that food in the restaurant, he must be also thinking, oh, my family is there in the village. I need to take care of them. I need to make sure that I need to finish my job early. I need to go back to sleep. So all those thoughts are actually going in while he's preparing the food. Whereas when somebody cooks at home, your wife, your mother, or whoever cooks at home, they actually put a love, compassion, and all those things, right? That's what matters as well. And when you eat that food, automatically it becomes healthy, right? So that's how it actually happened. And then I said, I don't think my body requires that much amount of food. I always tell Priyanka that when she said that she doesn't like me to eat, that I don't eat dinner, but I tell her always, do whatever test you want me to do. Get the lab test done on me. I am absolutely sure I'm healthy and perfectly fine. I have no deficiencies or nothing like that.
That's his last resort, okay? When I am like, you have to eat in the dinner, that is something. Bring the lab guy at home. Let us get all the tests done, and then I will tell you.
But as I said, my energy hasn't dropped since I haven't stopped eating dinner. Everything is absolutely fine. I even feel more energetic. And whoever asks me that, I just make a joke out of it. If somebody asks me, you look very thin, because people still do not have the understanding of fitness and health. If you are health, for them, healthy is like a fat guy, little fat, looking like a you have a exactly looking like a teddy bear. That means you are healthy, right? They do not understand that doesn't it does, see, if somebody is fat and healthy, chubby doesn't mean he's healthy. He might have 100 different things. A thin people are usually more energetic people, is what I understand. So whenever people ask me, you look very thin, are you sick or do you have any problem? I was like, okay, let's go downstairs, let's take a race, let's run and let's see who runs fast. That's what I tell everybody. So it's kind of a joke that I make with people. But yeah, that's how refrigerator and kind of food thing that changed in our life when we actually started the show.
Interesting. So your phones and other things, you still have access to all that. You still use your phones. It's not like suddenly you switched off Stone Age.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely.
And then that might be, very difficult, right? If you bring he's a switch on, switch off guy, but I think sometimes that also may backfire, right? Suddenly you're making a big switch. At present, like for example, we were used to sleeping at, maybe 10-inch mattress, right? But at present, we sleep on the ground, and it is very possible. But again, that shift also we took a little time.
Gradually.
Transition gradually, yes. Gradually is the keyword, is what I would suggest if somebody wants to make a change in their life.
But don't say gradually means years, 2 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
That comfort is very difficult to live, right? It's a luxury, that comfort. Oh, my body, I'm tired today. I am very, I had a very bad day in the office. Oh, I want to have a good sleep. So let's turn on the AC. let's sleep on a nice mattress.
Yeah.
So I guess that's not what you should be doing. That's a momentarily, probably until you go to sleep, maybe 10-15 minutes of happiness or feeling comfort. But that AC probably will give you a lot of problems on the longer run, right? So that's what I wanted to say. I mean, don't say that gradual means 5 years. I mean,
Yeah.
make it quick.
And just to add what he said just now, I had just been to Hyderabad. I switched my job. I'm still working, by the way, guys, right? The office put me in a very fancy restaurant, fancy hotel. I'm sorry, and you will not believe I made to a point in my room. I had not switched on the AC throughout my stay. Right, I was there for 5 days. So it was very much possible. The AC was right there. The remote was right next to my bed. But I made because I think I could manage without it. Right, I'm managing without a fan. So that's a conscious decision that you take. You're committed to that decision. Then it becomes very easy. Just like when you said AC, it just popped my head. Like recently, I did this.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming no AC at your double home as well.
No,
No
no
AC,
fan
no
as well.
fans.
So
Many of our
natural
relatives
ventilation
are not
runs.
coming to our place because we don't even have fans, right? So that's another challenge that we have to answer them, and we say, okay, then you guys come during rainy seasons or come during winters. Summers are not for you.
Mhm. So then how do you manage to cook like LPG or so could be a basic question. Like so I'm assuming like people who are listening saying their next question is fan nahi hai, refrigerator nahi hai. What next?
Nahi, we have both the provisions. We have a chulha too, and at the same time, see, so this house got built I think 3 years back, and 4 years before we moved to the village. Right, while our house was building up, we were staying in a temporary location, and so I we could manage with both chulha as well as chulha till I think last year,
1 year.
1 year back, because I am now into so many things. Uh, it wasn't like chula takes time. It's a slow cooking process, right? So we have also have a provision of LPG at home, and it's quite easy in the villages too.
So it's not a hard and fast rule that stop using AC, stop using fan, stop using LPG, or stop using this. Don't do this, don't do that. I mean, otherwise the whole point gets lost, right? I mean, having a happy and a peaceful life. Minimalism is not the goal. The goal is to live a happy and a peaceful life. Minimalism is a way to reach that particular goal, right? So whatever is possible for you, do that. If something is not possible for you, we are open and kind of accept that, okay, this can be done, this cannot be done. For example, now we have to keep traveling to Pune or Mumbai because my parents stay in Pune, her parents are in Pune, not Pune, sorry, Mumbai. And we have a house in Pune. So some of the other work comes in, or any other work that we have, we had to come to Pune. So we need to have a car, right? We don't have a choice. So we consciously decide, okay, you know what, this is not something that we can actually manage with. So we need to have a car with us, though there are government facilities, buses, trains, other stuff available. But again, for that, you need to make sure that you be there at the right time. You need to wait for the bus or so rather wasting time. Connectivity is an issue. So other wasting time, let's have a car. Let's probably not have a fancy car where it gives you around 6 or 7 kilometers per liter ka mileage. Take a car which actually gives you good mileage, so less usage of petrol and diesel or CNG or anything of that sort, and use that. Similarly, if you cannot manage with chula, initially we were managing. We had no problem. She was cooking every day on chula, and the chula food actually tastes really, really well. But unfortunately, since as she was saying, she's doing PhD in marketing now. She's doing podcasting with Change for Us Group, right? Yeah, with you guys. Then she's also working. So considering all the different things that she is currently doing, it makes it difficult for her to manage with chores, right? So that's when we decided, okay, you know what, that's okay. Let's get a LPG. Let's use that for some time. Over the weekends, we can cook on chula, and rest of the day we can use this. And once she feels that, okay, I think she's done with her corporate career and everything, we can probably switch it back again to chula, right? So again, what I'm trying to say is, do not really feel a burden of, oh, how can I live this life minimalistic? You want to use fan? Go ahead and use fan. No problem. Put a fan in your mud house. There's no issue with that. Of course, I wouldn't recommend AC because I mean, everybody knows the drawbacks health-wise as well as to environment. But fan can be used.
And one thing I noticed, right, while I was in Hyderabad, again, I mean, I'm sure it happens to the other metro cities too. People don't switch off fans. People don't switch off lights, after the use of it. So at least we can take that conscious step. If we are not removing them from your daily life, but at least we can switch it off. That's that much we can definitely do. I've seen people, literally, I had, turn off the water tap, that water tap was just continuously flowing. So, so that much education we as an individual, we as a community, we as a citizen of India should have, not to waste it, use it, but use it efficiently, switch it off when it is not in use. So that much definitely we can do.
And I think definitely sure that bare minimum hygiene requirements of saying, after the use of a fan, switch it off. After use of anything, switch that off. Because I am part of an apartment here,
Yeah.
and we have about 700 families, and people walk into the lift. In Bangalore right now is not the Bangalore I have seen as a kid. So the temperatures are absolute mayhem, right? So everybody needs a fan.
Yeah.
And I keep questioning the lift takes you there in possibly a minute, and that amount of heat should not be a big issue to go out from one place to another. But people use the lift. They use the fan in the lift, and they don't switch it off. So me and my mom, whenever we actually use the lift, yeah,
Yeah.
our default action is to switch it off after we go, and
Right.
that simple hygiene factor has possibly nothing to do with education. The ones who may not be formally educated come
Yeah.
from a space where they value resources far more strongly
Very
than
Yeah.
the ones who are coming educated, because everything is almost served on a plate.
Right.
So that becomes a big deal. And that's a deal breaker. And mom's a kindergarten teacher, and the running joke at a lot of times is, where do you get milk? You get it in the milk booth, or like somebody comes and delivers it to you. It's like the doodh wala gives you milk.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids or a lot of the people are not even bothered the value chain or the food chain that actually ends up in you getting a liter of milk, curd, or paneer, or anything as such. Our entire ball game is like black box here, black box here. So I use, and that's about it. So if it goes into the dustbin, I'm done. Right. So
Yeah.
that's the end of the space there is. So education may not be a ball game at
Yeah.
all to this
right.
space. The more educated we are formally, I think the more we take advantage of the atmosphere around us, the environment around us.
No, the ego comes in, right?
Yeah,
Sorry to cut you, but the
definitely.
ego comes in. I'm that educated. I'm MBA, I'm PhD, or I'm XYZ, or ABC. I'm a director or a CEO of a company. Why should I compromise on this? I mean, you're
Compromise
an
or
idiot.
something.
You are a CEO, but you're an idiot. You're actually making things difficult for the nature. I mean, just because you earn humongous amount of money, just because you have
Yeah,
cars at home and 10 flats and a villa and anything, that doesn't mean you're a good human being. That doesn't make you a good human being.
absolutely. Absolutely true. Absolutely. So it's become ego conscious living rather than eco conscious living.
Exactly.
So that is a very true space, right? So I also like our previous conversation also was around you switching your toothpaste, toothbrush, all those those smaller things over a period of time, even though
Right.
the switch is gradual. The constancy with which you do it makes a big change. I was just talking to you saying it's 2 months since I switched off to cold water baths. I do it approximately 9 months a year. The, the aspect of December and January is a little tricky thing for me. So I'm like, let's put it for 9 months a year. So I end up almost per day saving one fourth of a bucket of water
Oh, very
than
good.
my usual this thing, or generally half or one fourth. Maximum worst case scenario, one fourth I save.
Right.
Right? So over a period of 4 days, it's one bucket of water. Over a period of say 4 weeks, that possibly becomes much more.
Right.
So every space of that. So if I'm now doing it at say an apartment and 700 families, even if 100% start doing it,
Yeah.
the amount of water we save on a constant basis becomes huge.
Right.
So if the switch is minimal, but the switch becoming constant or switch becoming consistent makes a big difference across the space.
Right. Absolutely.
And that is something I wanted to tap in because we have another, conscious of time. Our first episode, I'm officially naming it episode one,
Oh.
would need that introduction of what are those smaller changes that you feel have constantly and consistently added to your efforts of being sustainable.
So, I mean, the changes, apart from the changes that we spoke about, you also talked about not using toothpaste and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that's another change that we did. Um, and before I actually talk about these changes, I want to say that this can be considered as a selfish change as well, right? Because that also gives you health. People, मेरे टूथपेस्ट में नमक है, क्या करेगा नमक आपके टूथपेस्ट में? I have no idea. I mean, I don't know why that advertisement is there on the television. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, toothpaste, if I give you an example, it definitely have too much amount of sugar. I mean, we all taste it every day, right? The children love it because it has sugar in it. We all know that sugar is bad for your body. It's bad for your teeth as well. So when you use that sugary toothpaste every day and probably sometimes twice in a day, because that's the thing that parents teach their
Recommended by
children,
doctors.
go brush your teeth before you go to bed. That means the amount of sugar that you're basically asking your child to intake, not directly to his stomach or so on, but on his teeth and gums and so on and so forth, is too much, right? Plus, it has um, uh, SLS in it, sodium lauryl sulfate, which is again a chemical that you actually kind of intake to your body. So it's like a cycle, right? You use sugar creates cavities. You go to dentist, he removes the cavities, again gives you tells you, oh, you know what, do brushing every day at least twice in a day. Again, you get more cavities. Again, you go to dentist. So this medical institution itself is a cycle. They give you some allopathic medicine, which has some side effects. It'll probably
Come
cure.
back,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say 100% cure, but probably cure the exact illness. But it gives you another side effect. Then you again go to the same doctor. He gives you another medicine, and this cycle continues, right? So for at least for your health purpose, please go ahead and stop this. You can, even if you do not have a right a powder to brush your teeth with, you use normal salt and turmeric and just brush your teeth. That is more than enough for your gums and your tooth to stay healthy. Similarly, we stopped using, I mean, I do not use bathing soap as well. I do not really think of a need to use a bathing soap. Now it's been maybe more than 2 years now that I haven't been using bathing soap, and my skin and bodies, everything is fine. There is no problem. I don't want to name a specific brand, but I heard that it's a very famous brand in India. A lot of people use that particular bathing soap in India, right? And that was initially started back somewhere in Europe or somewhere to kind of bathe the animals there, the porks and everybody else. And now they said to increase the sales, they came to India. We are a third world country as per them. Let these people use what we use on our animals, right? So actually, you do not need the bathing soap as well. So you don't we stop using that. You want to add anything to this?
Yeah. So you can switch to things like multani mitti, right? One of our close friends, they recommended we can also use Triphala Churna for brushing your teeth as well as cleaning, taking bath, right? And you don't stink. To be very honest, in spite of doing all this, you don't stink at all, right? I am managing very well in the society. You go and meet friends, family, no complaints so far, right? So you can switch to this healthy things, right? Apart from that, for shampooing, shampoo, frankly speaking, like to be very honest, I haven't come across anything that gives you satisfaction as a lady. Okay, like I've tried shikakai, I've tried so many the Rita powder and all of that, but end result, it doesn't give you the same silky hair that I have a silky hair, right? But so I am yet to find the solution for that. Any listeners who know a better solution, yeah, do recommend recommend me. I will be more than happy. Like I love to use lipsticks. Okay, I have switched to a herbal brand, which is made out of ghee and all natural colors, right? So I've made that conscious switch. I cannot manage myself without a lipstick when I go out, right? So such you have to then look out for it.
Look for alternatives, yeah.
Again, like I have switched to cotton pads, right? I have stopped, or at times, like when I'm traveling, I also use menstrual cups. So that save, a lot of your dump to the nature.
Plus healthy.
Plus healthy, yeah. I mean, the rashes have stopped and stuff like that. So we can take that conscious step to switch to the also these products which I'm referring to. They are all made in India, local products made with lot of love, passion, into it. So switch to so another thing, another mantra being a marketing person is eat and buy local, eat what is seasonal, buy which is seasonal, what is growing in your surrounding, right? So that is something I have a few things that I have made conscious decision to, and that has worked wonderfully and magically for both of us. Shampoo, please tell your listeners, no, Sunil, that they should guide me for sure.
Since
So
you're talking
another
about lady stuff, why don't you also talk about clothing? How do you manage your clothes?
Yeah.
mm,
So clothing also, what I do is like I like to call myself a creative person. Okay, nothing bragging about myself, but yeah, I love creativity. So in that, what I've done is I have upcycled my clothes. Right. I mean, I had a marriage in my family 3 years back, and I had taken a conscious decision back then that I'm not going to show up at all. Right. So what I did is whatever I had, I did mix and match. Got myself stitched some blouses on the existing material that I had, and I am wonderfully and magically, managed myself, carried myself very confidently throughout the wedding. So it is definitely doable. I did shopping just now because, as he told you, right, I had lost weight and then I had joined a new company. So now, after 4 years, I definitely did shopping. So it's not that like I'm very, stubborn about not going out there and doing any shopping. I do, but I tried to upcycle myself as much as I can. Even for example, we had to put a curtain, okay, in our house in Dapoli. So I had a very nice transparent sari. I used that as and I wasn't using it at all, right? So I used it as a curtain. So such steps you can definitely do, and reduce our carbon footprint on Mother Earth. And I remember somebody was saying, we are the children of Mother Earth. The moment we consider her as mother, I think consciously we will make changes in our day-to-day approach, right? So yeah, that is something. And one more thing, few more things, right? We have made changes in the utensils too. No non-stick at our home at all, right? So we have switched off
No aluminium.
No aluminium. We removed all the aluminium. Yeah, it's one time investment or a one step that you took, but post that your life becomes easy. So we buy mud. Sorry, what I'm saying, not mud. What do you call
Mitti
it?
ke bartan.
Mitti ke bartan.
Bata.
Bartan also. So they cost you what, 50, 80, maximum 150 rupees one bartan. That is not at all expensive in my opinion, right? And pressure cooker also. I have one pressure cooker at home. I switched it to stainless steel. But I use it only when there are certain food items that taste really yummy, when you make it in pressure cooker. So imagine from your childhood, you've been so used to that particular taste eaten in a pressure cooker, right? So for those certain example being khichdi, right? We love when it is pressure cooked. So we use pressure cooker for that, but otherwise we have stopped using it. When we have lot of guests at home, we do use pressure cooker because time is also an essence. Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, since you're talking about mitti ke bartan, right, and clay pots and all,
Clay pots.
it might be difficult for an individual to use clay pots on day-to-day basis, right? Then in that case, rather using aluminium pots, go ahead and use bronze or brass pots. I mean, they are little expensive, but you can always cook in those pots, which are much healthier for you as well. Aluminium, I read somewhere, it's a bad metal for the health. And if you see, it's a very sturdy metal, right? I mean, it doesn't get bad easily, right? So you can actually buy one aluminium cooker or a karai or something, and then it can actually go for a long time. But when you actually read about aluminium, you can find out that this particular metal is really bad. And how this actually came into the existence in India is how where these Britishers who ruled us, they used to make food in aluminium pots and let the prisoners who are our but like Bhagat Singh and
Freedom
our
fighters.
freedom fighters eat food from that aluminium pot. Why? Because when a food is actually get made in aluminium pot, and if somebody consumes the aluminium pot ka food, it slowly and gradually it makes your mind go crazy.
Color.
Not crazy, but go slow, affects your mind. Your intellectual thinking goes away. You cannot actually think creatively. So all those things slowly and gradually happens to your mind. So that's how it actually got introduced in India. And since then, I mean, Britishers left, but we are still acting as their slave with their fancy brands and company buying fancy things from them. So it's just bad for your health, and people don't
Hmm.
understand. They think
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah,
much
yeah.
ever we follow the white guys, we are cool. If we become
Absolutely.
westernized, we are cool. But that's not the case. I mean,
Yeah.
thing that I actually thought about is the jeans. I was reading about jeans, how jeans came into the picture. Uh, Jeans actually came where they were miners, right? Previously, it was African miners who used to go and mine coal or whatever they need, the white people need. I mean, I don't want to kind of put a general way that only white people does the bad things, but that's how our history says, right? This was the case earlier. So when they used to do the mining, their clothes and whatever they used to wear used to get torn, right? I mean, there was a problem with it. So the miners thought we need something which is sturdy, and we should give them those miners. They should go down, and we should not get easily torn, right? And that's how jeans came into the picture. And now the mining and everything stopped, right? I mean, slowly and gradually, Africans and our people also came out of slavery. We also thought, kind of had good education and so on and so forth. So the people who created this product called jeans, now they thought, what should we do? Our sales are actually dropping. So all they did was they got a very famous human, some famous personality, maybe from Hollywood or Bollywood, asked them to wear that jeans and showcase on a television. And we thought, oh, it's so cool. That person is wearing this jeans. I think I want to have. And that's how jeans actually got famous, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like capitalism mindset that people had, and then we people like us, because of the television, whatever we see on the television being worn by or being used by those celebrities, we think it is cool and we start using it. How much ever bad that is for our health, for the nature, and we don't even know those celebrities are actually really using them, or it's just a money for a day they use it, they take the money and
Celebrity is an interesting topic because I had heard of these James Bond, Clint Eastwood, all of these like big names, right, in the early part of the whole 60s, 70s, 80s kind of an era. The whole aspect of smoking. So if you smoked a particular cigar brand or whatever, they used to get more money, or that was influencer marketing at that point of time, and that was how a lot of the youngsters got into this,
Yeah.
and so that sort of a built a habit over time, and possibly another marketing space. I'm taking dig it, Priyanka, there is that one brand that I knew was, I think, tea or coffee that was made popular in a space was basically done through giving kids toffees, coffee toffees,
Yeah.
in a very tea friendly kind of a country for about 15 to 20 years. When they grew up, they were addicted to coffee rather than for tea, and so that means their entire value chain of uh, their products were gotten far more popularity, and that became a generational thing. So whoever came next as kids and grandkids automatically followed the generation before, and an entire indigenous knowledge that was there in terms of making tea or using it for something else is completely gone because these guys wanted to sell coffee. So
right.
there is a lot of that unprogramming that we have to do. And I think one of the very conscious aspects that we should do is study where our food is coming from.
Exactly.
What are we eating? Where are we going? And even lipsticks, right? So you said it's made with ghee, natural ingredients. And I was like, oh, if that is the case, then what are the other things made of? So you will go to, whales, some other oil, etc., and merciless hunting of that. So that space is where we have to sit down and pause and be like, what the hell are we doing in life? Right?
Yeah.
So that pause point should come to our space as early as possible. The earlier it comes, the more sustainable our ideas will become. And again, the whole aspect of it being eternal, etc., the religion aspect of it can be kept aside. and more embracing of the ritualistic aspect of how it does and how it changes you as an individual. Because obviously 95 to 65 is not an easy thing, right? So, and staying in that space, once you've tasted it, it is there. I know of so many of my friends who are hardcore in terms of saying, I should eat non-veg on a like once in 2 days, 3 days kind of basis. Otherwise, I'm not able to survive. And suddenly, after their kids have had issues with, some of the consumption of that, suddenly entire family switched over, and their game has changed from that. So eventually, say 1 or 2 days here and there, there is consumption. So they like it, they eat it. But it's not that I can't survive with it, kind of that
Absolutely.
desire to eat every day has completely switched over, saying I'll eat it when I want it. So need versus want, desires have also switched. So I am very conscious of your times today, right? So I'm therefore, getting to a logical path and saying we'll get to episode 2. There's so many things you mentioned in terms of your shampoos, your switching off from the space, and also very clearly you said it's your choice, and it's not because Suchak and Priyanka have done it. It works for them. It should work for everybody else in the same way it worked for you. But what I also want to share through the podcast is because it has worked for you, there is a way that you can also make it work for you based on whatever changes you want to bring in and whatever works for you. But essentially, don't do it for a generation that's come your kids or your kids, because the current space is there is no planet B. You have to leave it for the kids. But also, you should leave it for yourself, maybe 2 years down the line, because if you continue at this pace, you only will not have it. So, I think
Absolutely
that's
true.
the
Yeah.
spot we should actually aim at, right? So, I think I'll put a pause to this space here. Anything you guys want to add to wrap up today's episode 1?
No, since you said episode one, because there are few more things which are absolute necessary for people to understand. These are day to day and basic things that we do and use every day, and they are not only bad for nature; they're bad for health as well. But it's gonna go probably a little long discussion, so we probably can have that in episode two. We would be more than happy to have another round with you or with your viewers for sure. We are happy that we could share whatever our journey and whatever we have been doing from a very small point of view. I mean, we don't feel that we are doing something extraordinary or it is something that we feel proud, not proud, but ego should not come in between, is what I'm trying to say, basically. But at the same time, as you mentioned, it is very important for people to know these facts. Very important for them to understand the better way of living. Maybe they in their life they were not able to do it, but at least for their kids, they should kind of make these changes and make them rather asking your kid to become a big CEO of any company. Make him a good human being. Make him a healthy and a good human being. That is more important, I guess, from our standpoint. That's what I can say from my side. I don't know what. Yeah.
No, you have sum it up really well. Thank you, Sunil, for having us here. We look forward
thank
for the
you.
next conversation. And lastly, as I requested earlier to all the viewers out there, do let us know the sustainable, things that you are doing.
Yeah.
Maybe it will help us long way. Maybe we are just halfway there,
Yeah.
right? There is long road to work on, So I look forward for the comment section after this podcast goes live. And the shampoo thing, please do let me know. My hair are really silky and I would love to, switch over to a sustainable shampoo soon. Thank you so much, Sunil. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most welcome. Thank you. Take care. Then episode 2 is on the cards. We'll have to plan that.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. See you then. Take care. Thanks for today.